Africa produces millions of barrels of oil every day, and yet fuel is still expensive. That's because oil leaves cheap and returns expensive. So how does this happen? Let's follow a single barrel of oil. It's pulled from the ground in the Niger Delta. Thick, dark, and almost useless on its own. You can't put it in your car. You can't cook with it. It needs to be transformed. So what happens next? It gets loaded onto a tanker ship and sent thousands of kilometers away to Europe, Asia, or America. There, in massive refineries, it's processed into petrol, diesel, jet fuel, everything modern life runs on. And then it comes back. The same oil, now refined, is shipped back to Africa and sold at a much higher price. By the time it returns, it carries shipping costs, insurance, import duties, and the weight of weaker local currencies. That one barrel left as raw potential and came back as something far more expensive. Follow the barrel and you start to see the problem. So why not refine it locally? That was the plan. Nigeria built refineries in Port Harcourt, Warri, and Kaduna, enough on paper to meet demand. But over time, things broke down. Maintenance slipped, equipment aged, power was unreliable. Skilled workers left and capacity dropped sharply. By the 2000s, Nigeria was importing most of its fuel, a major oil producer, importing petrol. And it wasn't alone. Across Africa, refineries struggled to survive. Because building one is hard, but running it for decades is even harder. So importing became the easier option. On paper, it made sense. But in reality, Africa didn't fail to find oil. It failed to keep the value. Now that might be changing. In Lagos, the Dangote Refinery, built by Aliko Dangote, Africa's richest man, is trying to flip the script. After years of delays and nearly $20 billion in costs, it began operating in 2024. Now it's supplying fuel locally and exporting across Africa. Less crude leaving, more value staying. Some doubt it can fix everything. But it doesn't have to, because for the first time in decades, the model is shifting. For years, the pattern was simple. Oil left, value left with it. And what came back was more expensive. Africa was never poor in resources. It was exporting value and importing dependency. Now, that might finally be changing.